Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. I'm one half of the team, Mushmaster Tim Spriggs. And with me as always, every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nonu Nico Ball. Glad to be back for another episode of the best BJJ podcast out there.
I hope you're doing well this evening, Nico.
I definitely am. I'm excited. I'm starting a new job here soon. I have one more week at my next job, and we're filming on a Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday, so that's always exciting.
TGIF. I'm doing very well. Things are going great. Pro wrestling's going great. Being a professional is going great. So
being a professional is going great. Being a professional is going great. Just light work, slight work out there.
It's not slight work, but it's going well. Last week we had Master Donnie on the podcast.
Oh, no. Wait. We're going to talk about last week and Master Donnie, but let's not just skip past you. What's up with you this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? You said pro wrestling is going great. Let the people know. Why do I always got to be picking information out of you for the people?
I don't know.
Let us know what's up. Let us know. Tell them more.
Well, this weekend I have two shows. I can't really go into too much detail. By the time this happens, let's just say that me and the Marauders, my crew, are going to tear shit up this weekend. That's all I can say.
All right.
And I will keep everybody posted. And it's going to be great. I know that I'm a part of the best stable in wrestling in the independent scene. I know that we are the stars of the future. And we're going to show the whole world. That's basically it. I've had a really fun time with pro wrestling, and I've come a long way within the last year. It's been less than a year since I made my debut. I'm making a lot of noise. I've improved, and I'm just very happy. The decisions that I've made to get here has been very tough to make that transition mentally, in a lot of ways, but I think it was one of the better decisions I've made. After the 2019 season, I was tired of competing in jiu-jitsu. 2020 is supposed to be my last year of competition anyway. COVID forced that upon me. And yes, since COVID was taken seriously in the United States and shut shit down, I've been scrambling to figure out what's the next step for me in martial arts, artistically, professionally, and I'm finally figuring that out. It's culminated up to this point, and all in all, life's good.
That's what's up. I'm happy for you. Because I still remember the day that we were sitting. It was at a brewery at the bar, and you told me that you started training wrestling, and you're like, Nico, I'm doing this like porn. Nobody in my family knows about it.
Yeah.
Nobody, not even his family knew that he was training wrestling. He was putting his little knee guards or whatever in his bag and then just sneaking out to wrestling training. Nobody knew about it, and now it's just going so well. So that's really dope, and a dope way to start off 2023.
Yeah, it's a really dope start of the year. My goal is to do as many matches as possible. I know that 2023 is going to be a big year for me in all the right ways. Just stay tuned.
And we're also going to bring them back to the mats and jiu-jitsu, because we're going to we're going to talk about, I guess, last week's episode a little bit, but just going around doing some more guests, having some more guests. I know y'all be tired of us sometimes. I want to go hit up some people that are local, like Max Jimenez. We had him on virtually. So, I'm definitely going to make sure that you have your gi when we go hit him up, get some behind the scenes. Definitely going to have you back in the gi. I don't know when the last time it was that you trained. I know you were trying to, but
I did kickboxing last week.
Yeah, well, willingly or unwillingly, I'm going to throw you into a gi. But, I already had him, we went to the gym when we interviewed Master Donnie last week. That was the episode that dropped. last week because we filmed it on Saturday. It dropped on Monday. And then as we were leaving, like Tim was talking to Master Donnie because y'all, they don't stop talking. And Master Lloyd was there teaching class, and I thought it was Angelo's class, but Master Lloyd made me hop in the class. Like Malachi was in there, and he was like, "Does anybody have a gi?" He's like, "Where's your gi?" And I was like, "I don't have one." I happen to have a sports bra in my car because like you just always got to be prepared. Like Master Lloyd says, you always have to have your head on a swivel, so I always keep like a sports bra with me. So he made Malachi like raise up off the gi that he had because it was a little too short for him. So it's actually in my closet right now because it was too short for me. It's like, you know, you got that gi sponsorship, and I'm coming back, you know. So yeah, so I ended up training on Saturday. So definitely when we go do these interviews, I'm gonna make sure you have your gi and make sure you're getting in a little bit of mat time, see how you doing. We're gonna let you know, we'll see how it goes. It might be Patreon content.
I need at least 90 days of consistent training before I start traveling and wrestling people.
I mean, we're not going to be traveling. It's going to be local DC. It's going to be Mike Jimenez. It's going to be David Diaz. So he's small, you know, competes a lot though. So be prepared.
Like I said, I need 90 days to go wrestle with these people.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to Baltimore BJJ, which is like kind of like a nonprofit. They have a sliding scale. So I don't know if they'll have any like, you know, black belts up there, but if they do, like, I'm just gonna be, I don't know if it's pimping it out when I'm just like, no.
What's a sliding scale?
Sliding scale, it's kind of like so they're a 501c3 and they started in California, so like they offer classes depending on salary, because jiu-jitsu can be hella expensive, so to make it more accessible for the community, and I think it might be free classes for kids. Not 100% sure, but yeah, it's Guardian Jiu-Jitsu in Baltimore.
While we're still on the subject of Master Donnie, what is the takeaway that you got from talking to him, on camera or off?
He just loves the sport, because when I say like, we went on location and then like, you know, I do like the most of the production. So like, or I have it all at my house. So I like brought it in, we're unpacking. And they were just talking the whole time. Y'all were talking the whole time. And, you know, for as much as like Tim, I feel like might come on this podcast and be like, you know, BJJ can be like a bootlicking sport and this and that. Like, when you were with him, like, y'all just talk about it, and it's just that passion, it's that love, and it's just that, like, it's why we do it. And you did it before we filmed, and, like, y'all were talking after we filmed, and I feel like you were talking most of the time that I was training. So it's like, despite, like, sometimes I see your frustration with everything, like, seeing you with Master Donnie, you can see that love. And I think that's what I think is the dopest part of it, and why I love having people like him on.
That's deep. It was good. It was always good to talk to him. My big takeaway was also how much he loved the sport. And I started thinking about some of the things he said about growth. And I agree completely with the sentiment that we need to focus on the youth in growing the sport, because they're the future of the sport. And I spoke with someone that helps run a school. I'm not going to say who this person is, but they run a school in one of the new hotbeds of the sport. And they have the same misgivings about the community that Master Donnie has about the steroids, about how it's not a very but it's not as very welcoming to, let's just say, other people. Is very insulated. And I would like to elaborate on what he said. A couple things. One, I think in order for the sport to grow, there needs to be one unified rule set, one unified promotion or affiliation, association, federation, so that everybody can know what's going on. I compare it to the NFL and football. Yes, there are other leagues of football. Yes, football is a sport, but football is known as the NFL. Football is synonymous with the NFL. And at the end of the day, it's not about the individuals in the sport, it's the shield.
Yeah.
And what it stands for. True. And That's the biggest takeaway that I got from Master Donnie. He schooled me a lot about it, and I had to go back and think about it. And that's the biggest thing I got from our interview with Master Donnie. And if you would like to get some knowledge, if you would like to know more about the guy that has created several homegrown black belts at the elite level in the United States, in my opinion, the greatest American coach next to Master Lloyd, and the guy that's probably the best kids coach this country's ever seen, make sure you check out last week's episode, Master Donnie. I think it was episode 169, The Return of Master Donnie.
Do you? I think it was one episode 180.
Oh, shit, I don't know. It's almost at 200. Anyway, while we're on the subject of rules, the IBJJF has instituted new guidelines for the dreaded 50-50 position.
They love switching stuff. Blah, 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 blah,
hey, she's a working person. She works.
I teach English.
She teaches English.
I teach people how to speak this beautiful language. They love switching shit up.
I'm going to read off these rules directly from the IBJJF's Instagram. New rules. The IBJJF have made some new rules changes regarding the 50-50 with the Pell Grip for all IBJJF/Flow Grappling Grand Prix beginning March 3rd. Item number 1, new GP only rule. Lack of combativeness, stalling, is defined by one athlete clearly not pursuing positional progression in a match. The current rule says that lack of competitiveness is defined by one athlete clearly not pursuing positional progression in a match, and also when an athlete impedes his or her opponent from carrying out said progression. Now, if you do not try to progress, you will be penalized. Item 2. The penalties for lack of combativeness, will follow the sequences below after the referee considers one or both athletes partake in situations described in item 1. The referee shall count 10 consecutive seconds and signal lack of combativeness with the verbal command "luch," referring to the penalty to be applied to the athlete.
Wait, can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Have you read these already?
Yes.
Do you understand them?
Somewhat.
Shit, because I was going to ask if you could just explain it to us. Cause,
all right. So basically, from what I gather, mind you, like this is probably...
This is a good learning lesson because, you know, as he's reading these and I'm trying to listen, I am an astute competitor, right? Like, it's hard to follow like these complicated rules sometimes, but it's important for us as competitors to understand them well.
All right, long story short, it's official now. If you have somebody in 50-50 and you're just tying them up and not doing shit, you got 10 seconds to get a penalty. And then the second
10 seconds.
You got 10 seconds.
These are the keynotes. As an educator,
you got 10
I'd be
seconds.
Like, this is what I'd write down. Okay, so if I was taking notes in class, I would be like, okay, you pull that 50-50, because if you can't take down and you want to pull 50-50, you got 10 seconds to do what? Progress
the position.
What the hell does progress the position look like?
Sweeping the guy.
Yo, that's a whole, like, that's not a progression. That's a whole succession. That you have succeeded in getting your 3 points.
Or getting out,
like,
trying to get out.
Can a progression just be like a couple of inches? But
Jiu-Jitsu is very silly in some ways, and 50-50 is one of these examples. I kind of think sports jiu-jitsu is a little silly in some ways with the 50-50 and other things. Like 50-50, right? How many times in a fight have you seen someone go to 50-50?
All purple belts?
Yeah, that's my generation's fault, though. You know whose fault that really is? That's Rafa Mendez and Guy Mendez's fault, because they couldn't beat Cabrinha just doing regular jiu-jitsu for the longest time. So they had to do the whole, I'm going to put you in 50-50 because I don't want to have to pass your guard, or I don't want to have to sweep you.
You know, it would be interesting to analyze their fights back in the day from 50-50 in comparison to like these rules to see if they would like get penalized out.
I remember 2009 in Abu Dhabi, but not the Nogi version, the the AE, whatever the hell. And when they're in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi and they got gis on, those tournaments, back when Tarsus Humphreys was the best guy in the world, and then he shaved his beard for no fucking reason and lost his powers for a while. Nonetheless,
happens to the best of us.
Yeah, that's why I don't shave. That's part of the reason why I wanted to grow a beard. Nonetheless, I remember that because Cabrini used to whoop their ass. And then they started doing 50-50 and being like, hey man, I'm just going to teeter-totter till time goes out. So it'll be back and forth, and I'm going to sweep you in the last few seconds and hold you down. Then every guy that had buggy whip arms and was 150 pounds soaking wet decided to fuck trying to pass the guard to do takedowns like guys were doing for ages before. Huh?
I'll tell you in a second. Finish what you're talking about.
And I'm just going to butt scoot and lock you in 50-50.
Butt scoot.
It is. I mean, that shit, those matches in Abu Dhabi between Cabrini and Hoffa took jiu-jitsu back so many years because that was when sport jiu-jitsu jumped the shark. And then you know who started doing that goofy shit too? The Meow Brothers. They used to do 50-50. And then you had Keenan Cornelius's goofy ass. But then you had Keenan Cornelius's goofy ass doing 50-50 with those guys too. I'm like, bro, you were like a middle heavyweight. Will you pass the fucking guard? Will you just try to... All right, so I'm just going to go off the rails. So we're talking about jiu-jitsu. That our generation killed it. That generation killed jiu-jitsu because now, like, you know how even the Simpsons, they're talking about, oh, there's this clip from the Simpsons, and somebody will look it up. One of the recurring characters in the Simpsons was the guy who took Marge to prom, even though Homer liked her, and he's like this nerdy guy, but he ends up being really fucking rich, and Homer ends up coming to his house about to fuck him up, the guy thinks Homer's coming to beat him up, and he just falls to his back and says, I've mastered the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Crawl on top of me and meet your doom. And that shit is why. If you look at Jiu-Jitsu in 2001, everybody was doing takedowns. Everyone was passing guard. Everyone was trying to kill each other. Then in like the late 2000s, guys were just doing, I'm going to sit in this guard. I'm not going to do shit. I'm going to put you in 50-50 because... I don't want to learn how to fight. I don't want to lose. I want to just put you in 50-50, win by advantage or judge a decision, put a bullshit ankle lock from 50-50 in, and when the judge gives me the judge's decision, I'm going to open up my gi with steroid nipples and steroid acne riddled all over my skin and scream at the top of my lungs and just sing my song like, oh,
as far as the picture. And the song, not the song, I think it's a GF Team, so yo.
It's all the fucking songs, and that's what happened. So that's songs. Our generation. But I never wanted to do that, and it kills me to this day. But now this is where we're at.
Ladies and gentlemen, a professional wrestler did not want to open his gi and show his nipples and sing a song. Like, he ain't want to stun on them, and that's
I have before, but that was after like I beat somebody, and then they changed the game. But then they changed the game. It made it hard for guys that actually wanted to like fight or compete or do jiu-jitsu the way it's supposed to be. It made it super hard. But the problem with jiu-jitsu is the rules, where it's like, oh, well, the guard player is actually the top guy stalling. How the fuck is the top guy stalling when you have shit like 50-50 or you have guys just grab your lapel and wrap you up in a knot and like you can't fucking move and like, okay, so I'm just gonna let you sweep you? Like, you willingly laid on your back. If this is martial arts, if I'm really allowed to fuck you up, you need to get off your back, son.
Well, sometimes people don't just willingly lay on their back. They're just small and they get ravaged and they're on their back, and then like 50-50 could be a last resort. I mean, it would never particularly be my last resort.
I'm talking about competition. I'm talking about all right, if that's your case, why is it that they're doing against guys that are their same size.
Yo, if y'all aren't
they're
watching
their
this
same
on
size.
YouTube, if you guys aren't watching this on YouTube, yo, like Tim is going in.
They're the same size.
Laser
they're the same size.
Focused. He's
Hoffa
like,
and Cabrera are the same size.
50.
They're the same size, and they still do that shit. And I'll tell you another thing too. I remember this. I've wrestled one of the Meow brothers, and I was like, funny story time. It was Purple Belt Worlds 2011, 2012. I think it was 2012. Because that's before all those dorks like that are like Mastrodani said, these outsiders that are like from other schools, and they found like, oh well, you know, they're Americans on Team Lord Irvin and they're really good at jiu-jitsu. So, you know, I haven't won shit, or like I'm not getting results I want. Let me just go over and train with these guys and just be a hanger-on or a soldier of fortune. Nonetheless, this is before the great exodus of those clowns that left. And so it was me, Paulo Miao, Ivan Tomasetti, who's this Italian judoka who's really good, and Keenan Cornelius in the semifinals of Purple Belt Openweight. And I was supposed to fight Paulo Miao, right? I think this year that Keenan won double Grand Slam at Purple Belt, which, you know, it's a big accomplishment. And before he joined the team, he had no fucking hope in hell of winning shit. But, you know, he never says that, you know, whatever.
I ain't bleeping shit out this time.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Every episode from now on where it's not a guesses, I'm just going to tell everyone how I feel. And maybe the ratings will improve. Anyway.
Fantastic. I love that.
Anyway.
I love that.
I'm about to fight Paulo Miao, and DJ Jackson sees me underneath the stands, and he runs up to me and is like, you know what, Tim? Sometimes you got to run through a motherfucker's face. Over and over again. And over and over and over again. And I said, DJ, you're motherfucking right.
Was he wearing Tim's at the time?
Yes. Baggy sweatpants, a tight ass TLI shirt, because every year it used to be, I don't know if they still do it now, they would have the custom Team Lord Irvin world shirts.
Yeah,
they still do.
Definitely do.
They had the custom Team Lord Irvin world shirts. He was wearing that, and I'm under the bleachers of the Walter Pyramid, and I forgot what school it was. UC Long Beach, that's the name of the school.
Blood, sweat, and tears under those bleachers.
A lot of souls were taken from those bleachers. It was like Mortal Kombat, the first one. And your soul is mine. So I start the match, shake hands, I go to my side. I do a full sprint across the mat at Paulo Miao, jump towards him. I Goldberg spear him from the mat, drive him off his feet, grab his legs and everything, land in bounds, grab his ankle, put him in a full straight ankle lock, standing straight ankle lock, and I have them in that straight ankle lock for the entire match.
Stalling.
No, I didn't get any points. It went to judge's decision that gave it to him. And then I was like disappointed, and I should have closed out the open with Keenan. And the way I was wrestling that day, I probably would. I don't know if I would have beaten him, because this guy it was like training full time in the fighter house and everything, and he'd been a purple belt for like 10 fucking years at the time. And I was a full time college student, only training on breaks or summer break, winter break, spring break, that type of shit. And that's where jiu-jitsu was, and it has been ever since. Now hopefully with this new rule set that changes, I don't know, but shit like that is why all of a sudden people think that Nogi is better because there's no stalling in Nogi, and Nogi's so much better because there's more action. I'm gonna tell you something. Nogi jiu-jitsu is just as fucking boring, except they do different shit that's boring too, because it's just a little different. Doesn't mean that one is more boring than the other. long story short, hopefully these 50-50 rules change the game. How long have we been talking, Nico? We gotta do a time check because we're trying to like keep these episodes short.
We're at 24 minutes.
Perfect. Anyway, hopefully these 50-50 rules change. Hopefully they're coherent to everybody. I suggest that you read these rules and you don't just go take my word for it, because one, it's not my fucking job to disseminate the rules. I'm just a podcaster. It's up to IBJGF, and maybe, Nico, you should have.
I am gonna edit that out.
You should edit.
You should read the rules. If you don't understand them, come back.
I read the. What do you mean? You should read the rules,
because
listeners.
Tim's an expert, in the field. He's very knowledgeable.
Are you sure I'm an expert? Because I've been told I suck.
Who the?
People say I suck at jiu-jitsu. Hey man, I know I'm gonna say that for the Patreon, because that shit's not people saying I suck because they're full of shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on it.
We only have 6 minutes left. This is a 30-minute episode. I have one more thing to talk about because we took up all this time with 50-50. Quick aside, or next topic, while we still have time. Did you see Mikey Musumeci like destroy that guy's knee?
Oh yes, I did, and that's what I was thinking about when you were talking about Meow. Like, why were you like in that lock the whole time? Like, you can't break his leg off, but them.
They let him break their feet are already broken.
I know. So
they're crippled. Like, they're like old men at 30.
Some people just are super flexible, and don't give an F.
Now I heard. I mean, I'm on Facebook every once in a while, but that's only promote wrestling. And I saw Tom the Blast post about, people are mad at Mikey. I haven't seen anything about people being mad at Mikey. I think maybe he just made that shit up in his brain because.
You on Facebook?
Yes.
Not Instagram, but actual Facebook. Damn, how old are you, Tim? But anyway, all right, I'm gonna go on to Facebook.
Anyway, he made this post, and I feel like sometimes people just make up shit and post about, people are mad about this, and like making fake controversy so they can just have something to talk about on their page for engagement. I don't think anyone's mad at Mikey Musumeci. If anything, people should be mad at that dumbass for being put in a full-blown leg lock and not fucking tapping. No, I don't have any sympathy for this guy. I have the same amount of sympathy for him as I do for those super slap league dumbasses that let somebody slap the shit out of them and give them CTE, which, it's pretty cool, like seeing people get CTE in real time.
Why was that one that outline?
Oh, it's just a slap league, but we're never going to talk about that. All I'm going to say is the wrap is if someone has you in a leg lock in a jiu-jitsu tournament or anywhere, just tap. It's not worth it. And somebody in our Discord, shout out to you, said that they should have technical submissions where the referee stops it when there's a submission like that locked in. And I understand the merit to that argument, but I entirely disagree. Because it's not like you're incapacitated unless you get put to sleep. Yes, I mean, maybe you could stop it, but that's the only technical submission that I think we should do. I think as a sport, we should let people get their shit broken if they don't want to tap, so that people understand how dangerous jiu-jitsu can be, and people don't look at us as the pussy sport where people scissor each other. Grown men literally scissor each other in pajamas or in spats for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes and not do shit. And that has been another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. Nico,
we're not completely done. Hold on. We're going to double back. I found...
Oh, now you don't want to end.
No, I found Tom the Blast post, but I'm still kind of stuck on the Tim talking about the scissoring. I'm like,
they're
man,
bumping crotches.
First of all, Tim came here with a gallon of water. He ain't drinking. We ain't drinking today. I didn't give him any drugs.
I'm on like a celibacy
anyway, but
break.
I wanted to.
Like I'm like, was it not abstinent? Whatever. I'm not like drinking or smoking.
I hope you're not being celibacy, but anyway, I just wanted to double back because I was looking for Tom the Blast's post. So Tom the Blast's page seems to have a lot of problematic postings. So
he's a jiu-jitsu black belt in New Jersey. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Come on.
True.
I mean,
but
jiu-jitsu people are problematic.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it before we end out, and I'm gonna try not to say a lot because what I was thinking before when you asked me what, and I said I'll tell you later, it's because before we started filming, one of our listeners was like, "Yo, you all right, shorty? Last episode you was coughing a lot." And I was like, yeah, I know, because I was dying. I was really sick during Christmas, so I was coughing. I got better, but that cough is hard to get out, that smoker's cough. And he was like, yeah, I was counting them. So I was like, how many? He's like, there's like 8 big ones, you know? I was like, dang. And then before, somebody told me that I say like a lot. So I'm attempting to not say like. So if you're out there hearing me say like a lot, please let me know. So Tom the Blast Coast says, it's truly insane to me that Mikey Musumeci is getting so much hate for trying to win his world title match. So he's not hating on Mikey Musumeci, but he is identifying that there's some haters out there. We do not know where these haters are. It says, as a competitor during the match, it is not our job to have compassion for other competitors. It's our job to win by any means possible within the rules. Within the rules, y'all. Within the rules. So many people saying winning a match isn't worth me seriously hurting someone. Well, that's why you are not a world-class competitor. Not so subtle shot. I can guarantee that Mikey is not thinking, let me hurt this guy. He just wanted to win. What if he didn't go for that submission and let go when the guy wasn't tapping and got his own leg grabbed and had to tap himself? Then what? Submission, grappling, MMA, kickboxing, it's not a game. It's a form of fight. The goal is to do harm to your opponent and to make them submit. Come on, people. Stop being so fickle. And this post has 201 comments. It was posted 1 day ago. What day is today? It's the 19th. If y'all want to peruse Facebook and find it for yourself, peruse the comments and stuff like that. If you don't, you can find me on Facebook, because my Instagram posts to Facebook under Nico Ball. You can find me on Instagram at No New Nico. And yeah.
My idea, my opinion of that post is, I'll take obvious shit that everyone knows for 1,000, Alex. No shit, Sherlock. Of course you're trying to fuck this guy up. Oh, come on, man. 200 comments for that? Really? Ugh.
Hot take Tim today.
I don't give a fuck anymore. Hey, man, if you guys don't like me, you can try to kill me. Go for it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, what is this? What kind of gun is this? My bad. Damn.
If you don't like me, kill me. If you really feel some type of way, you don't like what I have to say, you can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram or Facebook, and then we can set up a duel to the death. You pick the weapons. You pick the form of fighting. If you really don't like me, kill me. Also, you can find me at MushmasterWins on Twitter. That is my professional wrestling Twitter, and I'm a professional wrestler now. I am a martial artist. I was a professional grappler. I was pretty fucking good. And yeah, that's basically where you can find me. You can find both of us at Patreon at patreon.com/BJJGoons. We are starting back over again with the Patreon because we've been very busy because we have lives.
Don't say we starting over like we've been fucked up. We missed one Patreon episode.
We missed one.
Because we hold it down on Patreon. We missed
one.
Several normal episodes for y'all on this normal tip. But then Patrons, we done missed one episode.
One in our entire 2-year career.
Town hall. So, like, yes, we did mess up on the new year. But no, we've been holding
Give us
it down
some
on
grace,
Patreon.
guys.
Don't say that. Yeah,
give us the same grace that because Mikey didn't give that poor bastard. We been messing
up on this normal joint, but not on the Patreon. Just want to put that out there.
Just give us some grace. Unlike Mikey gave that guy's leg. That son of a bitch, Mikey, trying to win a world title. Anyway, on behalf of Nico, I'd like to say thanks for watching another episode of the BJJ Goons podcast. And until next time, peace.